understanding. Okay. So I just hit go live, and I'm also going to hit go live on the other thing. And of course, those buttons don't like to work with one click. And we should be live there now. Hopefully it's got the right input. Yeah, it does. All right. So basically, I was doing show prep before 7:30, and I had a game plan to test headset stuff so that maybe Brian would be in on the headset this week. And then some other things unfolded here that I had to give my attention. And people, you gotta stop forwarding those fucking emails, okay? Just don't. Just don't. Just don't do it. Isn't that right, Brian?
Working, don't do what?
Well, I'm not going into any details. I'm not going into anything. But all I'm going to say is, dude, you all got to stop forwarding those damn emails to your family members. You all know who you are. You just got to stop doing that. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And so that took away from my prep time. And so my prep time was -5 minutes. Because here we are at 8:05, and we are ready to go. What are we ready to go with? We're ready to go with this. We're ready to go with the
whatever.
We're going with
insert title here.
The show that has no name. We are no name. We are nameless. We are themeless. We are directionless. We are aimless. But
we are wearing pants.
We are wearing pants, but we are not. One of us is not wearing socks. At least one of us is not wearing socks.
That's right, and we're not going to tell who.
But yeah, but you might all find out. And we also make
Are you
very
planning on putting your feet on the table?
Well, sometimes I have been known to put my feet up, and we also the thing that really draws the crowds here, especially Dune, is our weekly demonstration of our Second Amendment rights in the online world. And
yeah,
unfortunately, Brian's Second Amendment rights is being throttled by bandwidth restrictions, and I think we need to go march.
Actually, I think you really mean First Amendment.
Well,
but Second Amendment is actually funnier.
Yes, because I was making reference to the fact that we go shooting out in the streets in the GTA Online world.
Right, right. Oh,
yeah,
exactly.
Hence the gun sound effects.
I got an ad.
You got an ad. What do we got an ad for?
Use code something or other, free delivery. I'm trying to figure out what the hell this is.
And
the lady's a fast talker. Oh, Grubhub. Who would have thought Grubhub was there?
Now, Mod Pro's here. 5HitDune is here. And 5HitDune wants to know if I'm eating cereal. And I don't know what that's supposed to even mean, because ain't no bowl here. Now, Brian, are you eating cereal? No? I don't know. Why? Was there some Snap Crackle Pop on the line or something? I don't understand. So
maybe he was referring to the early. Actually, were you guys live when I first tried to connect? I couldn't understand you. It was just crackles.
Right, but that was for you because you had GTA.
Well, he may
open.
have been referring to that though.
Now this is
because he's a nice guy.
Now this is fun. The same thing happens every week. Brian jumps into the StreamYard. He can't hear a word I say because the Grand Theft Online is open and it's interfering. And we still haven't figured out why that's a problem some weeks and not others. And then Brian talks, I can hear him, and he's like, I can't hear you, I can't understand what you're saying, and I'm screaming in the microphone, close GTA, close GTA, close GTA, close GTA, and he's like, I can't understand what you're saying. I really wish there was something I could close to make you understandable, but I can't for the life.
Get a big piece of paper with a Sharpie that says close GTA.
Well, I held my arms up in an X, representing the X that you would click in a window.
Yeah, I didn't see what that was.
You didn't see the X.
No. In fact, if you had a big sign, I probably wouldn't be seeing that either.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what the crap I got to do.
Because my camera freezes. You don't receive. You only send when you get in that state. So we were going to test the headset.
True, yeah, you could be freezing.
Right.
No, you could be frozen. I'm not sure what Fruzen is. But...
We determined that my arm was frozen up like this when I was waving to you. So we've confirmed that. Basically, when the problem occurs, I can hear you. I can see you when your camera's on, but you can't hear me and you can't see me because everything freezes. So there's some resource issue on your laptop, but we're gonna get to that. First, the show topic. How many awful ideas can we come up with in an hour? And
how many? I'm sorry, offline ideas.
How many awful ideas?
Oh, awful!
And I'm gonna ask Mod Pro to tally, because I trust her with that. You know, how many awful ideas, and she's gonna come up and because here's the thing, I made a joke yesterday, and before, don't you go anywhere, don't you dare go anywhere. You gotta stay here.
So here's a joke I had just earlier, and that is, we were talking about caning in Singapore.
Oh, that's hilarious stuff right there.
But I spelled it Canning. She says, they can people? That was awesome.
Well, how do you think Prince Albert ended up in this predicament?
Exactly.
He went to Singapore. They put him in a can. And that's why you have to let him out.
They could have been caning in Great Britain at the same time.
Yeah, caning, canning, they're practically the same thing, right?
Very close.
Very close.
Your tomato, my tomato, right?
You know, you can
potato, my potato.
You can can tomatoes. You can cane tomatoes.
That's right. That's how you open them, right?
Put out
with a cane.
You just whack the tomatoes with a stick, and then you have tomato soup, which is great to go with your grilled cheese. All right, so I think that's bad idea number 1 and number 2. Caning tomatoes.
Number 1 and 2. Yeah. That's a good segue.
Caning tomatoes and canning Prince Albert. That's and while we're at it, let's just throw bad idea number 3. Prince Albert piercings. That's just bad idea.
Wait a minute. Prince Albert piercings?
Don't Google that.
No, I won't. Oh my God.
Dune had a co-host who had a very special piercing, and and he loved to talk about it. And for some reason, I'm still talking about it. So yeah, all right.
Because that makes you laugh.
So here's the thing. I made a joke yesterday. And the joke didn't quite stick the landing, although it helped that I wore a T-shirt that was themed to the joke. And I find it odd that made the difference between Angry Dune and Laughing Dune. But apparently the shirt was the and I'm not even gonna repeat the joke because it was pretty lame actually.
Well, what was the shirt?
It was my Disney World shirt is what it was.
Oh.
So, and no, you weren't angry. Dune was not angry. Dune would not have gotten angry.
Okay.
But
this is the place to work things out rather than.
Well, working things out requires dialogue, and it requires two-way dialogues, and that's sometimes hard to do, and that's where a lot of my bad ideas come from. Because I was thinking to myself, well, what if I wanted to talk out, because we have talked out issues on this show before, and usually we watch that number in the upper left corner get lower and lower and lower as we talk out issues. And that is a problem, and usually that means that we're on the wrong idea. We got a bad idea for a show, because a bad idea for a show is a show that results in that number up in the corner there getting lower and lower and lower. And we got a solid 6 right now, and I was almost scared to say that because I was sure it's going to turn to a 5 any moment.
Which one would go?
and so I thought, well, what if we introduced a method or a way of discussing issues on this show? Like, what if we tried to start by we'll only state facts? to start with, and we'll try to get all the facts out, and then and then if we want to talk about the opinions, we don't express our opinions, but we talk about the fact that there are these opinions that exist, and we try to fairly represent all the opinions. And it's like, yeah, but inevitably someone's gonna get pissed off and tap out. And I'm not saying that I was specifically thinking of Dune tapping out, but yeah, I was specifically thinking of Dune tapping out. And so I thought, well, what if Dune would just tell us when he's tapping out, and that signaled to us, okay, topic's over, fire up Grand Theft Auto, let's start shooting things.
Yeah.
And that could be the segment, the tap out with Dune. Or maybe someone else wants to play the role of the judge. It doesn't have to be Dune. It's just that he always comes to mind, who's always tapping out when we and I thought, well, what a cool idea is that if we could try to find a way to have dialogue and have someone that signals, okay, it's done now, and then move on to the next fun topic, and then we don't have to watch the number get smaller. So, this is, I don't know how many bad ideas I had right in that one thing there. I'm sure plenty. Now, Mod Pro goes LMAO, Dune, the Twitter mad dude. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways. So now Dune has counted 16 bad ideas. And maybe that's because I said Dune's name 16 times. Because usually he has the very smart approach of, dude, you guys all leave me out of this. I'm gonna go over there and shoot some things in the backyard. Cool. Which is why he's tapping out.
He's in an area where he can do that.
See, I realize the major flaw of this is that Dune has tapped out 16 times in the course of my explaining this, and it took 16 tap outs before I got the memo. So, yeah. So that was my random thought of the day. I'm surprised you didn't interrupt me 16 times in the course of my outlining that.
Well, I'm still waiting for the 16 items.
Oh, you want Dune to actually list what are the 16 bad ideas?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Putting a piece of metal in your no, wait.
In an electrical socket.
Yes. Okay, 17.
When it was in high school biology, the gag was you take the forceps and stick it in the electrical socket.
The forceps.
Tweezer type things.
Oh, okay.
This is biology, man. We call them forceps.
You would do, in biology, you would put tweezers.
Stick it in there.
In the outlet. Yep. And why was this a good idea? I mean, doesn't that hurt?
We're talking about bad ideas. And a friend of mine says, next time I do it, I'm going to put it in and leave it in.
Well,
that would pop a circuit breaker.
Aren't most bad ideas things that start out as what someone thinks is a good idea? So I'm trying to understand how we got from I got a good idea to tweezers in the outlet.
I think it starts off as, oh, I've got an idea. And then you try it and you realize, oh, that is a bad idea.
Right? Some ideas you don't have to try to find out that they're bad.
Like in college, we would throw darts at stop signs as you're speeding down the road.
Now that's a good idea.
Cool. It was a bad idea.
What's the worst that could happen? I don't think a dart's strong enough to puncture a tire.
One time we actually hit the stop sign.
Okay.
Couldn't get the damn thing out. It was buried that deep.
Well, that means you won the game. I mean,
right. But most of the time you'd miss the dart and it'd be lost. It's like, shit.
Well, that's why you got to buy a lot of darts. This is a great idea for the manufacturer of darts to encourage road darts with a stop sign. See, in my day, we just took a can of shaving cream and emptied it into a piece of newspaper, and then we just splatted that onto the stop sign and drove off.
In a newspaper.
Well, we had a can of shaving cream and a newspaper in the back of the car, and that was the best idea we could come up with to use that.
So like one layer of newspaper, you hit it with shaving cream and kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, we kind of just mountain of shaving cream in the
Yeah,
newspaper, and we got to a stop sign and we
Was it-
stopped.
Oh, you stop. See, there's the flaw.
And
You stopped.
and
You gotta be keeping going so it goes wham. Although I suspect that the newspaper of shaving cream is not heavy enough to give you the momentum.
No, that's why we stopped. Genocide Rob got out of the car and he whapped the newspaper onto the stop sign, got back in the car, and Doug drove off.
Why was a newspaper involved? Why not just go up with the shaving cream?
Well, we wanted to do a hit and run. We didn't want to stand out there for a long period of time.
See, that's where I'm heading.
Well, it was a stop sign. We had to stop for the stop sign anyway, so we just got out and flapped, and we would do things like that. Like anytime we got to
okay, what if it was a speed limit sign? You're supposed to be doing that.
Well, that's why we did this on a stop sign. There's a reason we didn't do this to it. See, we knew that idea was a bad idea before we even suggested it, so we went to the stop sign.
I think it's actually funner to run the stop sign and hit it with the object.
See,
of divine love.
Okay, how many bad ideas are we up to now? Mod Pros is what I assigned to count these. No, but because we would always do that. Like when we got to a traffic signal and it was a red light, we always would stop at the red light, and whoever was in the back seat, it was their job to get out of the car, walk up to the traffic signal, and hit the button for a green, and then get back in the car before it turned green. We would do that and laugh our asses off while doing that. And so I think this was like an extension of that. We got bored of doing the whole get out, push the button, get back in. So it's like, what can we do now? Well, we got a can of shaving cream. We got a newspaper. We could.
I got it.
Yeah. I mean, the ideas just kind of write themselves.
What else is on the list from which we can expand?
The list from what? Well, I already put out my bad idea of the day.
I thought you had 16 that you were going to go through.
No. Dune said that he already counted 16 bad ideas.
I guess I misunderstood.
No,
the
see,
the canning of people.
Now,
Actually,
Dune goes, please explain what that button did that was funny. No, well, it's like the cross. It's the button to get a green light if you're walking across.
To get the walk light.
Right. So the joke is that we're in a car. That button's really not meant for us, but we're treating it as if it were, by one of us getting out of the car, walking over, pushing the button to try to get a green light faster.
I kind of got that.
You got it. Dune didn't
because I'm into canning people.
Do they not have the buttons on the lights in Kansas? Dune got it now.
Or do they even have lights in Kansas?
Oh, they do. I've been there. I didn't see.
Okay.
I didn't look for the buttons though, because I grew up, so I stopped looking for buttons while driving. Now, if I went for a walk, if I went for a walk, I would have looked for a button. Now, Dune was thinking something along the lines of like pressing all the elevator buttons, like that. We were trying to be annoying with our button pressing. No, we were trying to get a green light faster. Is what we were trying to do. That was, although we weren't that serious about it because we were giggling like schoolgirls while doing this. But, it was, yeah.
Well, the fun thing to do is like you're in a really tall building. You hit the button for floor, 22. You get off at 2. You're not pressing all the buttons to be really annoying.
You're just pushing the buttons with a 2 in them, is what you're doing. Because you're not sure which one is the 2.
You want to be there the fastest you could get. So
you thought that 22 meant that it was floor 2 twice, right?
Yeah. Double speed.
Of course, if you push the 22 and you don't also push the 2 because you misunderstood and thought that the 22 is the button you wanted, then you can't get off at the second floor unless someone's getting on at the second floor.
Oh, and what really it still cracks me up, the apartment that we lived in Singapore, the elevator was made by Schindler's Lift.
Schindler's Lift.
Yes. Not a movie.
now, Dune wants to tell us about second floors. Oh, great. Well, you can call in. Skype is up, and we did test that just a little while ago.
Yes. Hello, Chicago.
Yes. Now, Dune has had people pissed at him about second floors. I'm going to pretend I don't understand what he's talking about to make him call in and explain this.
Yeah, what was that about, man?
No, Dune, call in. Tell us all about these second floors, man. I'm not sure.
Do you remember the number?
Well, it's a Skype account. Let's see. No. He's typing it in. This is not how call-in shows work, Dune. If your story takes more than 3 lines, which you've already typed in 3, you really should call in. I'm just teasing him. All right. So I think what he's getting at is that people are I don't know, cats from 5 or 6 are on the way to the lobby. Oh, I see. And they're pissed off that the elevator has to go from the 6th floor to the 5th floor and has to stop at the 2nd floor when you could have just taken the stairs instead of
yeah.
making the elevator take long. Oh, he did call.
Hey. Hello, Chicago.
Hello. I wasn't serious.
You guys are so high maintenance. Seriously.
Dude is calling in to tap out.
It got you enough to call in.
Hey, at least Skype works.
Help us, Dune.
It does. Now, so Dune, you've had some problems with the elevator on the 2nd floor.
Okay? Here's the thing. Because of my extensive hotel experience, a lot of people have their what room they like to stay in. I always like to be on the 1st floor.
Right.
Because the dogs insist. I like to be on the 1st floor just because it's convenient. I can go down and eat or whatever and leave.
Right.
And if it's a modern hotel, I'll take the 2nd floor near the stairs just so
less steps.
Well, I'll park my car out by the entrance.
Oh, yeah.
And I can walk in 1 flight of stairs up, boom, my room's right there.
Right.
So that's it's either 1st or 2nd floor. Try what I typically try to get.
Because when you're traveling, you're working long hours. You want to get to that bed as soon as you can when you're clocking out for the night.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So what happens on these, especially the larger hotels we're at, if one of 2 things, if I'm checking out and I have luggage, or if I'm just feeling rather lazy that day, I'll actually go and take the elevator down to the lobby to go eat.
Right.
Yeah.
And what happens is if it's especially on a work day, if you got a dude that's on the 6th floor, he's on his way to the lobby. As soon as the door opens on the 2nd floor to pick me up, he thinks he's at the lobby and he'll walk out.
And he'll be getting out. Yeah. I've seen that.
And sometimes they don't catch it in time.
Yeah.
Now I became hip to that, and I'll tell people this is the 2nd floor, and I had one guy go, "I know what goddamn floor it is."
You can't win.
I was like, "Ooh, dude, yes." I just gave up.
Hey, Dune. Here's the thing to say. The guy's kind of moving to get out, and you go number 2, and see if he knows what that means.
Well, a lot of times,
I gotta go. Number 2.
They'll kind of realize it, because see, there's a protocol involved. If the elevator comes down and it's going to pick somebody up, you would typically let the person get out first before you get in.
Right.
So they feel compelled as soon as it stops just to immediately walk out.
Yes.
And it's easy to do if you're not paying attention.
You should be like, good morning. It's a lovely day here on the 2nd floor. Like, you try to find a way to mention it in passing.
Dude, you need to keep score. How many times that happens? The guy actually gets out, you get in, the door closes, and he's left on the wrong floor.
It's only happened once that the dude actually got out and stayed out. Typically, they'll walk out and then realize that something doesn't look quite right.
Like, wait a minute, we're the donuts.
I realize they're on second, and by that time I've already got my hand out stopping the door. So I've saved many a dude that way.
Oh man! One day you're going to lose your arm.
Yeah, but the only one time a dude said that, and I still haven't figured that out yet, because I really can't imagine he came down from the top floor meaning to get off on the second. I think he just felt like, he may have felt stupid.
Right. I could see myself doing that thing where I get off and I realize this is the wrong floor, and I start to turn around. I realize I'm looking like an idiot in front of a bunch of people, and so I just keep walking on as if,
just go with it.
Like, this is where I meant to go. My friend's staying at the room right over there. I'm going to go. Okay, door's closed now.
Yeah, nothing creepy or nothing.
When I was in college, I was in a dorm on the 9th floor. There were a lot of athletes on the 2nd floor, and a lot of them would take the elevator. Dude, you're a fucking athlete. What the heck is wrong with you? Especially a guy that we called the Cookie Monster. He was a big football player.
Oh, I've known people that get pissy when people are on the 2nd floor and they take the elevator. I've seen them get pissy about it.
Yeah, right. Well, I had a funny elevator story myself, because working in going to college. The music building had an elevator in it, but it was not open for public use. It was only activated by key, because it was really kind of it was like a service elevator. Like, that's how they got all the pianos into the practice rooms in the basement.
Yeah.
So we realized one day that whenever we would take out a set of keys for the recording studio to work on a project, because we'd have to sign out keys. They didn't just give everyone keys to the studio, because this let them kind of track who's in the studio at what days and what time. And they always tried to encourage everyone, your goal is to have the key as small amount of time as possible. You want to get rid of the key. And yet inevitably, anytime I want to check out a key, we're out of keys. And the teachers would get pissed off about that and start checking logs and emailing nasty grams to people. Get your damn keys back in there. You're not supposed to hold it for a week. You're supposed to check it out on a Friday, checking it on a Monday. Why are you doing this? Is not. So we'd always complain there's never enough keys. And instead of making more keys to let us get our work done, they would just bitch at us. But anyways, we figured out one of the key. There was 2 keys on the ring, and one day someone tried it in the elevator, and it's like, oh, this key works on the elevator. So what do a bunch of college students do when they realize they got the key to the elevator? We take the elevator up to the studio, and from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor. We take the elevator back down from the 2nd floor.
Why would you assume you're not supposed to do that? I mean, seriously, that's a perfect way. There, you gave me the key.
You gave me. Well, so one evening, I'm on the 2nd floor, and I'm like, I'm gonna take the elevator down, and I put the key in, and the elevator doesn't come. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And so I do it again. And like on the 3rd try, finally the elevator comes, elevator opens up, and there's a bag of garbage in the elevator, because housekeeping was like collecting garbage and putting it in there and trying to hold the elevator, because then when all the garbage was collected, they're going to take it out. And so I was totally throwing off the cleaning crew that evening, because normally the elevator will just sit stationary on the 1st floor.
The door closed, they're like, damn it.
Unless some dumbass with a key.
Yes, that's funny.
Which was me. So yeah, no, I stopped doing that after that.
I guess I did. That made me think. Our high school had an elevator in it too. It worked with a key. The only time I ever saw anybody ever use it was like people who had like broken legs or something. They would get a key.
Right.
So they could go up and down. But that's about it.
Yeah, I think I don't recall specifically people that needed it, but I think that was the understanding, was that there were some people that had keys for the elevator that required it for disabilities. But yeah, it was a 2-floor building, so they're not gonna. 3 floors if you count the basement with all the practice rooms with all the pianos. But
so did you get on with the garbage and write it down or not?
No, I took the stairs down. I didn't want to.
Now, the funny thing would have been to take the garbage out, then send it back down. If you'd have thought about that at the time, that would have been worthwhile.
Yeah, that would have been. Well, the thing is I pretty much figured I would get from the second floor to the first floor. The door would open up and there'd be a cleaning person right there, and then I would be, I was already that dumbass that was trying to steal their trash. I didn't feel like walking into the middle of that. I guess and the only way I could have taken the trash out without them seeing me is one of the options was there was an exterior door. Because the elevator was one of those elevators that had a door on either side of the elevator, so you could stop at this spot that had a door that opened up to the outside, but it was like this swinging metal door that could only be opened from the outside. And anyways,
you could always told them you were just Professor Guitars, and
Yeah.
you're new here. Thank you for doing such a great job.
I think they'd see me around the building, and I hung around the studios late at night, many an evening in that building.
The "I'm with stupid" T-shirt probably threw it off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. They knew who I was. I was that guy playing records late at night in the DAW lab. Is who I was. Yeah. Because I would do that. I would get the keys and do late night sessions in the labs and run into the cleaning crew while going to use the bathroom or something. Although one time, oh man, I don't know if I ever told this story or not, but I'm gonna tell the story because I think Dune, you'll get a kick out of it because you know all about Senior Douchebag.
Yeah, I'll be folding wash while you're talking. So go ahead.
I need to give you the drum fill for that.
Yeah.
So, so this is right around the time where Senior Douchebag had really pissed me off. And
One of the many times.
One of the many times Senior. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, there were two professors in the that were specifically music recording professors. One of them was Mr. Barry Hill, and the other one was Mr. Jeff Snyder. And it's Mr. Jeff Snyder who we have the lovely term of endearment of Senior Douchebag. I think Gothard came up with that name for him. And,
I can see that.
And yeah, because he told us that we should call him ODB, old dirty bastard, is what Jeff Snyder specifically said that, because he was one of those professors that's like, I'm going to prepare you for the real world because the real world, you'll probably be working for an asshole. So I'm going to be that asshole that you're like working for. And then you find out that, the real world's not as bad as teacher. And maybe there are some, here's the thing. I've worked with assholes. I've worked for assholes, but I've also gotten out of those situations. It's not that the world is filled with assholes. You just got to resign yourself to working for one. No, you need to learn how to deal with assholes, but I don't think a good method of teaching is I'm going to be like an asshole so that you'll be good at working for an asshole.
Just as a side note, have either one of these guys actually worked in a professional recording studio?
Yes, both of them many times.
Okay.
You
know this. This is true. Verifiable.
I know Mr. Hill has worked with on certain, has credits to certain things. I know Jeff Snyder has worked in a lot of different ways in the studio. Jeff Snyder is a keyboard player. He's played with different bands. He's worked in sales at music stores. He's done a lot of, but I don't know how much. And they're the type of people that they've played with musicians. They've been in studios. They've worked with gear. They know what they're doing. Obviously, they're not big shot producers with, working with multi-million-dollar rock stars, but they've crossed paths with fame. Heck, I've crossed paths with fame. I worked at a studio that David Bowie was working at. Is that a big deal? No, not really. But so. Cool. Yeah, they've rubbed elbows in places. They've got some real life experience, and they landed on a nice teaching gig at the at the college. Now, John writes in, professors invent extraneous requirements, e.g., staple 45 degrees or comment every line.
Right.
So Senior Douchebag was getting on my case about something, and I forget what it was, but I reached the point where I basically had a laundry anytime. someone gave me an excuse, I would go into a rant. And so I was.
Wait a second. Is this the same Johnny I know? I'm kidding.
This is exactly the same Johnny.
Because right now, a shocked face looks about like the same face that I'm just walking down the street with.
Well,
that's okay.
I think what happened is I didn't have a car on campus for my first for 3 of my 4 years on campus. I actually for the first I don't think it was till senior year that I actually brought a car with me to campus. The first 3 years, my parents would drop me off at the beginning of the school year. And they come pick me up on the last day, and they come pick me up, bring me home for Christmas or whatnot. But yeah, I spent I didn't have a car. So then Jeff Snyder basically said, for this class, you need to get a new tape to record your projects on. And I raised my hand. I said, well, I already have a tape that works on that machine that I haven't even used half of. Can I just use it? No, it needs to be a brand new, fresh tape. I'm like, where can I buy that? Mind you, this is pre-Amazon. Because this story sounds stupid now that I'm telling it. Like, dude, get your happy ass on Amazon, get a tape out there next day. No, if you wanted to buy a digital 8-track multi-track tape for a DA88 machine, you weren't just going to order that off of the internet on some site and have it show up within a week. You needed to get out to some kind of a audio related store that would have that. And I don't have a car, and I don't even know where to find this tape. So I'm like, I already have a tape. Why are you making me buy a new tape? And the reason why I had the tape was because Mr. Hill sold us tapes. Like, Mr. Hill came in the first day of class with a box of tapes and said, these tapes are, $5 each. Who wants to buy one? Whereas I start the class with Senior Douchebag. He says, you all have to buy a new tape and you all got to have it here by next week. Go buy one. And I'm like, I got an assignment that I got a week to do for you. And step 1 is figuring out how to get a damn ride to a store that I don't even know what stores sell this tape when I have a tape and I could just do the projects. I was pissed off about that.
Did you have access to a telephone?
I did.
So why didn't you just call different places to see if they cared?
Well, and even if I started calling around and finding a place, then I got.
You didn't have a Radio Shack?
Radio Shack don't carry DA88 tapes.
I know, just joking.
And
not anymore.
And Senior Douchebag's point, which I will grant he had a point. His point was, you're going to school here to learn how to be a professional and work in the working. You need to be an adult and figure out how to go get yourself to a store and buy a damn tape. Whereas I was kind of like, you're adding a whole lot of busy work onto my busy workload just because you don't want me to use the tape that I already had that the previous professor sold to me on the first day of class to make life easier for me. And so we got into a bit of an argument about it. And I was, so at some point during the week, I'm doing one of my late night hanging out in DAW lab, working on some projects or something. And not his projects, because I didn't have the tape to do it. And I run into someone in the hall, and she's like, oh, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, God, I got to figure out how to get this tape because stupid Senior Douchebag and then this and that. And I'm going off on a rant, and she starts like making like head motions, and I'm like, what's going on? And I turn around, and who's standing right behind me?
That's right. Dun, dun, dun.
And I think I was right in the middle of the line, like, I'm going to the head of the department. I'm going to the head of the department. I'm making a formal complaint against him because this is ridiculous. This has got to stop. And then that's when she starts motioning like, hey, like, hi, Mr. Snyder. And then I turn around and I'm like, oh, and he's like, hey, you want to complain about me? You're welcome to do it. And the only thing I could say was, I will, because I wasn't going to back down at that point. I was seeing red, and it's either I could slink away and choke on my words, which that's never anyone's first reaction. Your first reaction is to talk big and find a way to exit really quick. Yeah, as I'm storming off, you're damn right I will. You're damn right. And that's when Senior Douchebag started planning to kick me out of his class. But
really?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Senior douchebag told me about this a few years later. Was that supposedly when that happened, he decided that's it. I'm kicking him out of my class. And the problem is, if he kicks me out of the class, that means that I don't complete a necessary credit for my major that only happens once a year, and there's only one teacher for, which means that he would have been able to postpone my graduation a whole year, or cancel my graduation, because then that means that we got to come up with the funds for another semester of college to take this class again. So yeah, but anyways, what happened was
that's that summer you take taekwondo, I think.
What's that?
That's the summer that you learn taekwondo.
There you go.
And then never mind.
But what happened is after I stormed off, I came to my senses, and I'm like, this is getting a little too far. I think I've escalated this a little further than I should have. So the next day of class, I actually made a point to quietly come up to him before class and go, hey, look, about our encounter in the hallway, I'm really sorry about that. I have no intentions of complaining about you. Not that, and he's like, oh, okay, just go take your seat. And he didn't, and it wasn't until years later he was like, I was going to kick you out of class. It's a good thing you came and apologized to me that day. So sometimes life works out, But I got the last laugh because I went on to host a very popular internet radio show where many times I have publicly trashed him to 7 listeners. So and he's probably still just teaching music.
He doesn't have a son who's in IT that last name or first name starts with a J, does he? Just wondering.
No. He. I don't think. I don't know that. You know what? He was married, but he didn't have kids at the time. But then again, it's been a long time. Now, Brian Blues sitting here, politely listening to our story or my story, wrote in, great tune. How do I get to Carnegie Hall? Sparks. So you've been listening to Sparks?
Actually, that's the closing tune on this season's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh.
Are you familiar with that song?
I've heard it, yeah.
It's actually pretty funny. Do you have it?
Ask me if there's a Sparks song I don't have.
Well, in fact, when I saw it on the credits that that's Sparks, I go, that's freaking cool.
Well, now you got to listen to more Sparks is what you got to do.
Absolutely.
On purpose?
But yeah, that's off of their Little Beethoven album, which is the same album that has the song Suburban Homeboys.
How do I get to Carnegie Hall?
I have to give you credit, though, that you never, later on in life, went and searched down that guy and went and knocked on his door and ran away or anything.
Well, Gothard and I had one brief encounter with him post-graduation. And that was because mind you, Gothard and I graduated. I moved back in with my parents in New Jersey. He went back in, moved in with his parents up in Maine, and we kind of, started our postgraduate lives trying to start our own little thing and figure out a way to get out of the house. We didn't just, we weren't ready to just set up shop. And, it's not like, I think once there was a time that some families would kind of have a thing when you come home from graduation, well, you got 2 weeks to get a job and get the fuck out. I don't know how anyone would do that today. Usually you gotta move back in and come up with a plan to get some income, get some rent. So anyways, so Gothard and I, it was a few years before I left Jersey and moved up to Maine, and we became roommates. So we were really kind of just staying in touch with email and AOL Instant Messenger for a few years there. And so it was kind of this thing where if we wanted to hang out, one of us would have to plan to visit. And Gothard has family in Jersey. So I kept being like, hey, you coming down to Jersey to visit some family? Maybe you can come swing by. We can go to Princeton, do some record shopping for an afternoon or something. He goes, yeah, I might be able to. And somehow we worked it out that he had some time to come hang out in Jersey, and we decided, why don't we go drive out to Pennsylvania and go shop at the Record Connection out there in Ephrata that we used to shop at all the time when we were in college, and see if the 80s metal roadie still works there. Because there was this guy working at the record store that looked like he just fell right out of like the 80s. Carrying equipment on stage for Metallica or AC/DC or something like that. So
those are the best kind.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
Did you ask him if they had any K-Tel?
Uh,
I'm guessing you did.
They were fresh out of K-Tel. I bought it all.
Have you restocked on your K-Tel?
No, so anyways, after we did some record shopping there, I'm like, hey, let's go swing by the campus and take a look at it, because it's been a whole year or 2 years since we last saw it, which is like nothing now in the grand scheme of things. But it's like, oh, let's go back, let's go see the campus. It's been a whole year since we graduated. And so we stopped by the campus. I went to the music building, knocked on a few professors' doors, said hi, kind of caught up a little bit. How are things going? How's that? And so then Gothard and I finished talking to one of the professors. We go around the corner, walk down the hallway, and who comes around the corner right as we're passing by another hallway? But senior douchebag, Jeff Snyder. And he's like, Jonathan, Seth, I got to go jump into a class right now, but you guys going to be around? I'm like, oh, yeah, we'll be around. Okay, yeah, we'll catch up. I'll talk to you later. Okay, great. Went into the classroom. I turned to Gothard. I said, let's go. And we...
Yeah, we'll be around for sure.
Yeah, we'll be around.
Or just stick on and say, listen, everything you taught me was bullshit.
Hey, what class you teaching? Why don't we come in and talk to the class some?
Oh, yeah, that would be a surprise, eh?
You see all this stuff you got here? You'll never use it because it'll be obsolete.
What have we been doing since graduation? Well, let's see. I'm working at Walmart, and Gothard here is working at a music store that does home theater installation. So,
I was going to ask you if you thought, with the skill you have now and the availability of a printer, if you could have faked up a really good one of those tapes that made it look like it was used and had something like, Grateful Dead recording, blah, 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 and you put a big X through it, ask him if he can use his eraser or something like that. Can I use the magnetic eraser for a second?
I don't know. We
thank you.
What we were gonna do is one thing we learned about Jeff Snyder was that apparently at some point in his career he crossed paths with what's that guy's name? The Wasted Away Again, Margarita.
Johnny. I know you're talking about.
God? Why do I should know this name?
He's got his own channel on XM Radio.
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett. There you go.
I can't believe I forgot Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, I think he totally hates that thing too.
Right.
Well, because I think every time he goes into a show, people want him to play it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's his. Big...
it's like a lot of musicians hate playing Mustang Sally. They hate playing that because everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. People tend to end up hating their hits.
But it's not even your hit. It's it's one of those classics that everybody wants.
Right. And Jose is tuned in. Hello, Jose. Good evening to you too. We're doing great. So yeah, he was really apparently he crossed paths with Jimmy Buffett and found Jimmy Buffett to be quite an asshole. And now thinking back, I'm like, wait a minute. If an asshole says someone else is an asshole, does that mean that person's a double asshole because even assholes think they're assholes, or does that cancel out and that means that, oh no, Jimmy Buffett's a pretty normal guy. He just knows that senior douchebag here is an asshole, and so that's I don't know. So just take that for what it's worth.
Well, if you ever run into Jimmy Buffett, you're going to have to ask.
I'm going to have to ask, what was the deal with Jeff Snyder? Because he really don't like you. And so we thought it might be funny to like go to the record store and buy like every Jimmy Buffett 45 we could find and just start like, thumbtacking them onto his door to cover his door with Jimmy Buffett 45. But we decided that would be too much money worth of Jimmy Buffett 45s to buy to make that happen. So we never.
Maybe you just do a greatest hits album, or you figure out which is his absolute worst recording ever.
Margaritaville, hands down.
Well, but I mean, is that the name of the album?
No, that's the 45. We were going to buy a 45, not an LP. But,
just a 45. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to buy all the 45s to cover his door with them. And then I said,
what you do?
I said we should just buy one. Maybe we just hang one 45 of Jimmy Buffett on his door.
So you get Margaritaville, you tack that on the door with a post-it note that says, "The side B is better."
There we go. That's how we do it. That's well, the thing is that so of course me and Senior Douchebag did not get along for obvious reasons, but it's the reason why Gothard and Senior Douchebag did not get along well, and that all comes down to one of our favorite topics, coffee. And I don't know if you remember this story, because I think this story has been told at least once or twice.
I don't remember it. If you're
all right. Well, the thing is that Senior Douchebag, in addition to trying to be an asshole to prepare us for the real world, he also wanted to be our friend. So he was one of those types of teachers that's like, hey, just, you don't even need have any questions, come on by my office during office hours, or, anything I can help you with. Or, hey, if you just want to hang out, maybe you just want to come by, say hi, and have a cup of coffee. I have coffee. Come, by my office and eat. Now, when I say he had coffee, he had a hot plate, a kettle of water, instant coffee packets, and sugar packets, and non-dairy powder stuff is what he had. He had like those like powdered creamer packets, the sugar packets, the coffee packet, and warm water.
It does sound borderline creepy to hear you say it like that.
Right. But my point is he had like the bare minimum that passed for making a cup of coffee, and so Gothard stops by his office for office hours to check in, because we were required to check in at least once, and he'd always did the like, hey, you want a cup of coffee? And so Gothard made some type of a snarky comment to the effect of, yeah, do you have any?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's like the joke writes itself. You have this like Folgers Crystals packet, the non-dairy creamer, and the sugar packet, and it's like the obvious. It's like me making fun of Dune for drinking Bud Light. You have to.
There, they would really look at you sideways. Mm. If your parents would have been there, because that's totally acceptable coffee. At your house.
Well, at least my parents would heat the water up on a stove and actually be hot. I don't think the hot plate got this. I mean, that's and my parents would put milk in their coffee, not the powdered shit. But yeah, so apparently Senior Douchebag did not see the humor in that whole comment of like, yeah, do you have any? And just gave me the stink eye for that. So that kind of set the tone.
So he had his numbers, what you're saying.
Right. But of course, Gothard never got caught ranting about him at great length to someone in the hallway and walked up behind. So clearly, I was the. Well, the other thing is that I took every opportunity I can. And here, prepare your shocked face, Dune. Are you ready for your shocked face?
I'm ready.
Senior Douchebag was a big fan of Macs over PC, and I would take every opportunity I could to put down Macs any time I could during class. And I saw this as a playful rivalry. with him is what I saw this, because like he'd come into class, he'd fire up the Mac to prepare the day's lesson, and the Mac would put up an error message, and you know, he'd restart it, which only works on PCs, because if you restart a Mac, it still has the same problem it had when you turned it off, and the same error message comes up, and someone's like, what does it say? And I'd be like, it says, hi, I'm a Mac, I'm not good for anything, replace me with a PC, please. And Snyder would give me the stink eye, and I thought I was pretty fucking hilarious. I don't get what his problem was. And you know, I went on to entertain 7 people on an internet radio show on Twitch, and he's still successfully teaching many students every year. So
Is he?
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. You know what? It's been at least 3 years since I've checked. So let's check out if he's still on the LVC faculty there. Well, he's still got a page there. Let's see, Jeff Snyder, chair and professor of music business, director of music business. Yeah, he's still
What
He's still
could he
listening to the
possibly
website.
be teaching now? I mean, none of that equipment is viable.
Well,
I mean, none.
well, Dune. The equipment changes, but the basic concepts and the skill sets, they really taught us not how to use a mixer. They taught us how to learn to use a mixer, or the concepts of signal flow. You know, so yeah, we would use it on the equipment they had there, but those are skill sets that you can. Hey, you know this, Dune. You learn how to work on your school's mixing board. And,
I did by
you,
myself without a douchebag.
and you kept up on that knowledge and built on that knowledge and you're still using the same basic principles on your modern equipment. It's still cables and signal flow and levels. That doesn't change.
That's true.
I mean, the big change is working with analog tape versus dealing with digital audio. But they taught us both of that. So I really went to school for the right time to still have the analog and the digital. I don't know how much they still teach the analog these days. I don't know if they still had the 2-inch 24-track machine hooked up. They probably retired that.
Yeah. What about that cool mixer they had?
Which one?
The 4-channel.
You mean what, the big mixer I was sitting behind in the picture? The big.
I thought that was like a quad mixer.
Well, it could do 5.1 surround, and they set that room up to be a 5.1 room, but they never. I don't know what their intentions were with that room, because it never was used, and none of their classes ever actually delved into 5.1. It was kind of more along the lines of they were laying some groundwork to potentially have an area that could do 5.1 sound.
Well, how much did that thing possibly cost? I mean, that had to be tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, that was actually, it's a funny story, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a special arrangement that the school entered into with Tascam one year. And it was this big deal that Tascam loaned us a bunch of equipment in exchange for this program that students could apply to. The concept being that if we loan all this equipment to schools that run these types of classes, that gives us a pool of people that learn to use that equipment that could then come intern for us or work with us or work for us. And I know Gothard's roommate actually interned with them for a summer, and I think it was a paid internship with them. And I that's the only person I know of that actually got into their program. But part of the program was they.
Yes. Oh, sorry. My bag was under 50 pounds. I'm sorry. That was all.
That's great. You're getting ready to travel. You're second floor. Here we come.
Well, I only have to take one bag now.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, sorry.
So that big, expensive, fancy mixing board I was sitting behind was a loaner to the school from Tascam. And that was the most expensive piece of equipment that Tascam loaned us. And here's the kicker.
Okay, go ahead.
Being that we were in the building that was for the music department of the college, we were in the building that got the least amount of budget for building maintenance. and the roof was in need of it. So yeah, that mixing board got rained on, sitting in the DAW lab.
Shit.
And so what could they do? But they moved the board to another section of room that had more sturdy roof, or rough. They took the screws out of it and took the casing off of it to let it dry. And they reported to Tascam what had happened and waited for Tascam to respond. And Tascam's response was, why don't we just consider it a donation to the school? And
Well,
so,
I would find it hard to believe they would ever ask for it back anyway.
you very well could be right. I mean, because apparently within a few years they stopped making that model and we're moving on to other models. So it wasn't even by the time, like I think it was a year later they reported.
And not to mention, think of the write-off they had, because they would have been able to call
Of
that
course.
absolute top dollar.
Right.
That's
Of,
absolutely why they do it.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so after it
With the
dried,
hope that they get more people using their equipment,
Mhm.
we have that exposure, and then
Yeah.
it's a donation, so you have a write-off. Where's the lose there at all?
yeah.
Especially if it's like last year's model, which you're not going to be able to sell anyway.
So exactly.
Is it still there?
I don't know if it's still there, but it when it dried out, it still worked, and it was still there for many years at least. It probably, my guess would be it's still somewhere. I don't know that it's set. It was never set up as a primary mixing board. Like I said, they set up an area of the DAW lab that was going to be like a 5.1 post-production type of area. I don't even know what their intent was with that area, but when we first got the board, they're like, oh, it's the biggest, fanciest piece of equipment ever. We're going to wire it up in Studio B because that's our digital studio, and we'll have our students learn on this. And the problem is that there were two studios. Studio A was a 24-track analog studio that had the 2-inch machine. Studio B was an 8-track digital studio. It had a DA88 digital tape machine that would do 8-track digital. And it had a Mackie mixing board in there. And that was really where the first year students would start learning how to use a Mackie mixing board, how to deal with only 8 tracks of digital audio, just to kind of get your feet wet, setting some levels, using some outboard equipment and putting a mix together.
Sure.
So putting the fancy top-of-the-line brand new Tascam mixing board in the Studio B resulted in a studio that no one could figure out how to use, because as Mr. Hill would often say about it, this ain't a my first Mackie. And so so they moved it off to the DAW lab to figure out what they were going to do with it.
They could have just
put the
gave
Mackie
it to
back.
you in Gothard, and then you'd have been fine.
They could
There
have,
you go.
but where would we have put it?
Same place you were going to put the one from California.
Grammy's garage. We had a spot set aside in Grammy's garage.
Hang on, I got to swab my nose here while you're talking. Don't. If I go make noises.
Yeah. That you get
Wait,
to do
you
one of
haven't
those.
been making noises all along there, Dune?
Yeah. Oh, have I?
Clinking, clanking. I heard a zipper go, I think was up.
Hey, Dune, you've been making almost as much noise as me. It's
Oh, okay. Good. People know it's real. Nobody has that many sound effects. Ooh, now my eyes are watering. Holy shit.
This is
Oh.
Dune out in nature.
there we go. No, he's
His
you doing
nature.
you doing the so I guess you're doing the COVID test, right?
COVID testing, yes.
Right. I guess for your traveling you have to,
Yeah. I gotta
in
do
addition to
this
being
before I leave.
vaccinated, you got to do the test.
Yeah.
So, that's fun. I did
Is
one of
that
those.
for the,
See if I get to
is that
see
for
if I
the
win
airlines
prize.
or for the outfit that's?
No. No, it's for work.
Well, I know,
Because
but you're hopping on an airplane, right?
Yeah.
So does the airline want that, or does your?
No.
No, his
it's
work
work.
wants it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm going from one facility to another,
Yeah,
so they don't want Typhoid Mary on a plane.
yeah. So do you have COVID at your site?
I don't know. I would assume I would got it everywhere.
Not that he's aware of.
No,
Okay.
I mean, not.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There's
Right.
not active
It's
cases that
just a-
you're aware
it's just-
of, and that's the point.
Oh,
and
I
they still
realize-
want
This
you
is a
to-
way they're cutting down on cross-contamination between different plants. Is
Yeah,
if you're
it's-
traveling, take a
if you're
test
traveling
since
to-
we don't know where
Yeah,
you're
if
coming in
traveling
from.
to another site. That's the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to minimize the chances
Yeah.
of
Sure.
someone, yeah. It's all
Funny thing
good.
is, the last time I did this, I was positive.
Whoa!
Oh, that's not fun.
No, I can tell right now. I'm
so
negative.
the hotel lets
I
you
do
stay
have
in the
kind of-
parking lot.
They say it takes 15 minutes. It don't. If you're positive, you'll know within the first few seconds. Trust me, because it'll show you.
I you know what? That's the same. My stepmother said the same thing, that when she took the test, it immediately as soon as they say
there's no
15
way-
minutes.
Yeah, the 15 minutes I think is just a. There's no way you would not know, but yeah,
Well, I'm thinking.
So if it takes longer than 15 minutes, you're actually dead.
probably.
no,
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, they also say not 15 minutes and not over 20 minutes. So like at that point, it's too long. So I believe it's a range. Maybe some people probably test a stronger positive than other people. So there may very well be someone that it shows up a fainter line and it
that's
doesn't
true,
really start to
because
show
like I
till
said,
15.
because it changed as I got better.
Yeah.
It got much lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does have a difference.
So when you were tested positive, how often do you retest?
I think I tested 10 days later. No, I started testing 8 because what the policy was, as soon as I tested clean, I was good to go. And on day 8, it was just barely there.
But you didn't
Yeah, I
test in
think-
between, is that correct?
No, there wasn't no reason to.
And you had no symptoms, I take it.
Oh no, I mean,
Okay.
the first 2 days I just had headache. I had really bad migraines,
Hmm.
and that was why I went home the first day. I went to work and said, "Oh man, I don't feel good," and I left and went home. And then I just out of the blue, like, I better take this before I go back to work. And it was like, dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker.
Guess we're not going back to work.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? I tested positive. I'm definitely
Now I get
pregnant.
and now I get to add this to my repertoire of pictures. Of
Oh, by the way, I had a little discussion with this person on Twitter about the pregnancy test kit for the commercial fishermen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Since that had come up before Dune, right? And at first I think she didn't want to believe me.
That you found a pregnancy kit. with the-
That I'd heard about it. I didn't find it. Dune found it.
Oh, that's right.
And I did look it
Oh,
up at the
that's right.
time,
I forgot about that.
but I couldn't find what I had found before, which sucked. But I said, yeah, there's one article I see, but it doesn't actually give us the biology behind it. What chemicals are in the test kit. How does it work? And I'm
Yeah,
still
it's like
wondering.
easier. I've never known if you could just not swab anything, and I think it actually won't work if you do that. Anyway, go ahead.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wonder, that thing was like a bar of soap. How does that work with humans, or was that designed for humans?
What now?
That thing I found?
Yeah, wasn't it as big as a bar of soap?
No, it was just a typical pen-like looking pregnancy test.
Oh, it was. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of
You
those
did
ones
send a
that's kind of
picture
oblong
out,
looking.
and I
So
kind of
all of our memories suck, is what you're saying.
Of
is,
course,
Yeah.
because we're a bunch of old farts.
Because I forgot who took the
Well,
picture.
I forgot I found it. Now that you've done, and thank you for reminding me, because I had just got that creepy picture out of my head. And now it's back.
Oh man,
Hey,
sorry.
hey,
man.
that's
For the
okay.
longest time, if I
You're
ever-
gonna
if
get
I
up
ever
in the
thought
middle of the
about
night and you go, "Damn, why was that?"
Dude,
Every time I thought about that
And-
pier, it was just the
and
smell
now
and the walruses.
Well, if you ever need to forget that, just look at your Spotify list, and another image will come to mind.
That's true. That's very true.
So okay, let's bring this back again. So you had this. There was this crate there on the
Mhm.
harbor,
It was a big, one of
Uh-huh.
those great big.
and there was
Whatever.
a test pen. Now that
On
we're
top
getting
of
it
it.
correct.
Right.
Yes.
Was there more than one? Was there one for each?
No, there was just the one.
Just the one.
Oh, be damned.
Huh.
I wonder if that was just I took the test and I chucked it here.
It could be.
It could be any myriad of things.
Yeah.
In my world,
That's bizarre.
it was a fisherman having an affair with another fisherman.
Yeah. Well, I got to
Yeah.
say, I
Kenny's
saw.
probably going. Oh, you didn't look to see if it was positive or negative, right?
I think you could see it, and I think it was negative.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
speaking.
Now you're gonna make me look now.
Well,
Shit. Go ahead.
there was this.
I want to burn this into your brain.
There was this
permanently.
TV storyline on All My Children that I realized a very disturbing part of the storyline that went overlooked all these years. And the story goes that there's a character by the name of Taylor, and Taylor, she was in love with a guy by the name of Noah. And her and Noah were sleeping together, but he didn't really love her because Noah was really in love with Julia, but Julia wasn't ready to get in a relationship with Noah. And then finally, Julia was ready to get in a relationship with Noah, and Taylor saw that Noah was losing interest in her, and Noah was going to go get in a relationship with Julia. And Taylor absolutely hates Julia. They have this rivalry going on because it's All My Children. Of course, there's rivalries. Of course, rawr, you know. And so Taylor decided that the best way to try to prevent Noah from leaving her for Julia would be to get pregnant. And so she tried to get impregnated by Noah. And so she went and she took a pregnancy test. But the pregnancy test, it was a test that would turn blue if you were pregnant, and it wasn't turning blue. And so she's there in the bathroom holding the stick that she peed on, like, come on, turn blue, come on, turn blue. And she panicked because she's going to lose Noah. So she grabbed the mouthwash, took the cap off the mouthwash, dunked the test in the mouthwash to turn it blue, put the cap back on the mouthwash, put the mouthwash back on the shelf. Now, here's my problem with this. Noah's gargling Taylor's pee from that mouthwash every time he goes to gargle every morning. This is not cool.
What would
Yeah,
be
send
really
Johnny random
cool? Okay,
pictures
so
while I look.
So, one of the main characters in Schitt's Creek, is this woman
There
that
it is.
was in this soap opera,
Uh-huh.
fake one, of course,
Right.
called Sunrise Bay. And there's all these little clips in the series that talk about what happens. In one season, she plays her own father,
Of
and
course.
she impregnates her mother, so she's her own father. It's bizarre. You're your own father.
There you go, Johnny.
Yeah. Wait, where is it?
Oh, your phone.
Oh, I was looking at my messenger.
And the very last picture is the one I wanted to remember.
Okay, I can't screen share this, but we'll take a look at. Well, we've seen this before. Yeah, but you're right. It's just a standard pregnancy test that you found out there on top of the thing.
It appears to be negative.
And yeah, because it was one of those ones that has the single line for not pregnant, and it would have a 90-degree cross line to make a plus if you are pregnant.
Yes.
And it only has the single line. So yeah, the fish are not pregnant is I think what we
Right.
learned.
But see, if I send it, like I said, there's a picture of it on top of that container.
Yeah,
You can kind of see that.
yeah.
You're just like, ugh.
Off of the distance, it's like, what's this? It's a pregnancy test.
Don't know why I went and looked at it.
Why did I come here and look at that? And as we saw, it had the single blue line, but not the second one. But if you dunked it in mouthwash, OX64 writes in, Dune is pregnant? What did I walk in on? No.
No,
It's
negative.
it's okay. It was a negative test. Dune is not
Negative.
pregnant.
Negative.
I thought about tweeting
God.
it, and I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to tweet this.
We just had a panic moment.
Just
there.
tweet it without any context,
That's
dude.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I almost
or just
did.
add a whew.
Yeah.
Oh, out of context comments. Is that what you were talking about with the cereal at the start of the show?
That's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So what cereal
he
are you
gets-
eating, dude?
Now he gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
You
this
can send Brian a link later.
there was this video that involves step siblings fighting over some spilt milk while eating some breakfast cereal one morning that leads to a wrestling match. And that's all I'm going to say about
All
that
right.
video.
All right.
It
Gosh.
Mod Pro's going to tweet it. We can't talk much more about the cereal video because TOS,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
all right.
I was going to say we did play the audio a little bit, I think. Or did we?
No,
I don't think we did.
no, Dune. I am just curious. I am just curious if you had any thoughts or reaction or response to my top of the show idea of like the tap out with Dune, where well, you're laughing. That's a good reaction.
Well, why do you want to take years off? You know, I'm an old man. I don't have a good heart anyway.
Why do you think that I would want to take years off your life?
Why is my light flashing? I don't like that.
I think
Because now it makes me
I think
question
Dune's
whether-
tapping out is I think what's going.
It makes me wonder: is the light flashing, or am I just is my light flashing?
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, and like I said, it's an idea that anyone could fit in possibly. If anyone out there is listening and wants to participate in some social experiment of conversation, discussion, and tapping out and not getting angry, or tapping out when you're getting angry and moving on. I just, I feel like one of the biggest problems in this country is that there is not a dialogue. And
I agree.
I'm trying to find a way to have that dialogue, but no one's lining up to have dialogue with me like that, except for people that are like, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, we're a group of people that all agree with each other. Yay, what have we accomplished? Nothing. What are we going to accomplish? Nothing. Let's drink beer. And I think that's what the other side is doing too.
Yeah, Dune.
Yeah.
Your name is
Yeah,
Johnny,
Dune.
right?
My name's Johnny. Johnny.
And Dune, you could listen in. That's fine. Mod Pro and whoever else is on. We could talk about beer if that's what you want.
We could talk about beer. That's a very controversial topic.
You could even have a mild argument on which's the best beer.
We could find less controversial topics to practice on.
The best zero carb beer.
There,
Go.
I'm tapping out. As soon as you said zero carb, I'm like, no. I'm seeing. Oh, you know what?
It's like decaf coffee. What is the point?
Hang on, more noise.
Right?
Okay.
Garage door.
Oh, you know what? I got the perfect thing. Maybe it'll be a multi-party show. Everyone's got the tap out button, and that results in the topic change or the show mode change, and the tap out button plays this.
Right. And then the next one will come up and they'll talk about
I heard something.
the curse of Oak Island.
No, that's that topic is permanently banned from this show.
Oh, guess what? Just one line, right?
Okay.
One line.
Okay.
Guess what
Hold
they
on.
have found so far this season?
How much? What varieties of wood have they found?
Well, I mean, excluding, guess what valuable, silver or gold?
They found gold.
Well, they still think that there's gold there. No, they have not found anything.
Okay.
They did some water tests, which suggest there is some amount of silver or gold. Okay.
And my
You know,
sprinklers work out.
Those are
in case you
basically
wondered.
unsoluble minerals, but they do get into water in very minute amounts. So if you have good
Just wanted
test
you to know
equipment,
Oh,
you
I'm
can
sorry. What
detect
do you want us to know, Dune?
that my sprinklers are working.
You Okay. that's
yay!
That was the most useful comment that we've had in the past 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. And perfect segue.
Actually, you know what? It might not be a bad idea for you as an exercise to do a. I'm going to say
But not all
no.
of them.
I'm going to say no more than 15 minutes, but to do a 15-minute segment on the history of Oak Island, and you're only allowed to state facts. verifiable cited facts. And that would be a good exercise to start with, because that's our starting point for any topic should be, let's list the facts before we start delving into different opinions that exist or theories. You know, what are the facts of Oak Island? Because, like, for example, it's been reported that there were, like, planks of wood every 10 feet, but there's no verifiable proof that that actually existed. And
no.
Yeah.
When they've done some of this recent drilling, they have found exactly that. And they find what they call searcher wood, which is more recent, not older than 200 years old. And then they found some old wood that's much older than that. They're saying,
there you go.
And they've done tests to verify it. They're doing a lot of tests. That's what's cool about the show. It's about science. It's about
all right.
history.
I'm going to say this
trying
topic.
to figure out what's going on. Are they going to find treasure? Probably not.
OX64 writes in, less controversial. That's so 1899.
Actually, the money pit was discovered in 1798.
Well, we're talking about the concept of less controversial in general. I think is what that comment was about before we got into Oak Island. I'm trying to get off the Oak Island again because this island sucks. It's like trying to live on a piece of Swiss cheese.
So Norton tells me that I have detected 235 trackers following your online activities.
Well, that's low.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because I'm talking to you guys, you dumb shit.
Yeah, we're tracking you.
So he wants me to subscribe now. This is what pisses me about Norton. I have all these tools that I'm paying for, but what the fuck does it do? Nothing. Hey, Norton Utilities. Fuck off.
Now, OX64 writes in, what if we go to Serial Island? Where's that damn rewind button in Twitter?
Island. Is that for serial killers?
That could be. That could be. It's funny. There was a band in the 90s called Green Jelly, and they originally called themselves Green Jello, but some major food manufacturer sent them a cease and desist, threatening to sue them if they didn't change their band name, and so they changed it to Green Jelly. But apparently they started writing a song called Serial Killer that was about like Toucan, son of Sam, was a serial killer and like killed like the Snap Crackle Pop, and it was this song about all the serial mascots.
Like a real family friendly,
right?
Situation.
Well, apparently a lot of food companies threatened to sue them if they released that song, and so that is why we did not get a nice serial killer pun song out of the 90s from a band called Green Jelly, unfortunately. But I did find a 45 of the Three Little Pigs on my record shopping this past weekend, so that's a win.
Oh no!
You remember
Should we
that
play
one?
A little more of that Sparks album or song.
Well, I mean, I have it. I have the album, of course. But
Just play a little more of the song because you cut it off pretty quick.
Okay, well, copyrights.
I mean, even to start, because with the sound bouncing off the two speakers.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's maybe their next tour. You need to go see them live because they've already finished the U.S. portion of this year's tour. But
Practice, man, practice.
How do I get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, man, practice. How do I get to Carnegie Hall?
Are you playing something I should be hearing?
what's that?
Are you playing something I should be hearing?
Oh, is it not coming through to you?
No.
Oh, you know what? I set up the Skype channel. Oh my God! Why is no? Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm covered in water now.
I think I might be looping you back. Is what might be happening. No, you should be getting that.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it.
You hear me though, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Weird.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? No, there's something weird going on with the routing on the board.
I had to throw it in
Reboot,
there.
reboot.
All right. Let me
I
see.
acting up. I picked a good time.
Is-
There it is. I can hear it now.
Okay. Oh, you know what happened is I got confused with some of my buttons on my channels. I had set the board to not send computer sounds to Skype because I was going to use that channel on the board for GTA headset, and I wasn't gonna, and I didn't want to send the GTA sounds to the headset, so I was leaving that channel out of Skype. Because usually we don't get Skype calls, so it wasn't going to impact anything. So yeah, you've totally been missing out all our drum fills. This whole call is the important thing.
So why don't you do a little makeup set of drum fills? You know,
Okay, we could. Yeah, well, oh, and that means you didn't know that what I was saying was that the sound for the tap out button, if we were to do some type of a tap out show, would be the
yeah.
angry drums. Now, Donnie Lucifer has joined the chat room and asked, "What's happening, lads?" Well, we're just chatting about bad ideas. Is this week's
Bad ideas.
bad ideas?
What could go wrong?
Let's all get in a room and talk politics for 2 hours. I think is the root of most of my bad
I think
ideas this
I
week.
think that's been done.
That's been,
Or we could talk about what's going on with Twitter. No, let's not do that. That's a bad idea.
well, you know, I mean,
I was responding to this guy's tweet, by the way.
yeah, you were just okay.
And in the midst of getting ready to send the tweet, the guy's account disappeared.
Oh,
So he was a little pissed off and he quit. And then about an hour later, he came back in and says, "Fuck, I've got to come back in." And I said, "Well, welcome back." You know,
that's it.
welcome back.
I'm deleting my account. Hold on, let me undelete it just to say one last thing before I leave. This time I'm leaving for good. I'm going. I'm out.
Whatever.
Come on.
Well,
There are so many things that are going on Twitter.
Well,
If you don't like that guy, either you block him or you don't follow him or whatever. Who cares?
The thing is, Twitter, Facebook, they weren't the first social media sites, and they won't be the last.
Yeah.
I mean, things come and go. Things go through different changes. People going to do what they're going to do. People going to buy what they're going to buy. And you know what? I have enough important things to worry about. That's like doesn't even hit my list of things to worry about. You know?
Well, there are a lot of different reasons why MySpace kind of went away. It's because
it was poorly
they
managed.
made it too and they made it too open, so you could put in contents that included viruses, and they didn't attempt to stop that. So yes, very poorly managed.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nice to have. You know, in fact, my gripe with Facebook, there is no profile page. You know, if you don't go through the guy's posts, you don't know what the guy's about. You know, unless you know the guy personally.
Right. You know, my big thing about Facebook is it's funny. Facebook's algorithm seems to think I'm conservative these days, and I'll pause for Dune to finish laughing hysterically at that. No,
and Dune's a liberal, right?
no, I'm pretty sure Dune's Facebook knows what's up with Dune. But
okay.
no, let me explain this. And this is not a political dialogue. This is and if Dune wants to tap out this conversation, let us know. We'll change topic.
No, actually, I'd like to hear his comments. Don't tap out, please.
Please don't. But if you want to,
we're talking about bad ideas.
If
here.
I step in a pile of shit, let me know I need to scrape the shit off my shoes, and I'll go do that, and we'll move on. I mean,
after all, he does not want that in his living room.
But here's the thing. I scroll through my Facebook feed, and the things I look more at are the things that piss me off than the things that don't piss me off. And I have like a few friends that post very conflicting views.
I was going to say, so you've already stepped in it, because everything that you scroll through on your feed is things that your friends are posting.
Right.
You don't just get random stuff in your feed.
No,
it doesn't work that way.
No, and I have friends that have different views from me.
Well, then if you don't want to see them, don't follow them. It's not that hard.
Well,
Dune.
No,
exactly.
but Dune, I think you missed my point completely. It's not that I don't want to see them; it's that I disagree with them. That doesn't mean I don't want to see them. I actually open up the comments and I want to see what other people think and what other people have to say about it. I want to, I want to see that. I don't want to block that out.
Okay, but I'm just saying
it exists.
Your first statement made it sound like you were being sent things because Facebook thought you were conservative, and that is not true.
Well,
you're just seeing whatever your friends post.
No, no, but there's also sponsored content that shows up in your feed, and now I'm getting things in my feed that are not from friends, and that is like you that are. I'm getting things in my feed that are, you might find this interesting, that are memes that appeal to people with different opinions than mine, and I think that that's kind of amusing that Facebook thinks that's what they want to target.
Well, I think it's amusing.
Wait a minute, isn't there a button?
Oh, I know it's paid for. I know it's paid for, but they're targeting me wrong. Is what's amusing.
So, wait a minute, isn't there something on all of those that say I don't want to see this?
Yes.
You're missing my point.
Fucking do that.
I'm not angry. I'm not angry about this. I don't care about it. It doesn't piss me off. I just
use Facebook stuff like that. You can target any audience you want.
Exactly.
It lets you do that.
I don't understand what the deal is here. I'm just saying that because I read things I disagree with, Facebook thinks that they should target things at me that I disagree with, and maybe
I don't know if I believe that. Because if that was the case, I'd see nothing but stuff I didn't like. Which on Facebook?
I'm not saying that it's all stuff I don't like, but like at some point I noticed more stuff is showing up that I disagree with. And it's just like,
but it's just like the whole Twitter thing. That's what's so hilarious is people Twitter. It's like, you know what?
Well, I'm not freaking out.
I use Twitter all the time. But you know what? The people I don't want to see, I don't follow.
That's right. You don't follow me.
Fixed.
You don't want to see my tweets, so you don't follow me, and that's fine. And I still follow you.
No, he follows you. He just mutes you.
I just don't look at your shit. There's a difference.
I look at it all.
Really? I could have sworn.
Who cares? I look at it all.
When I last looked, you were not following me.
I'm pretty sure I am. I'll check again, but usually that's what I do. If people are posting crap, I don't want to, because this way we can, because we still interact.
Yeah.
You notice I still see what you post to me.
Yeah.
So
Well, when I post you, but you're not following. You don't see my other shit.
Yes, that it was correct.
Which is fine. I got that. See, some people are all, oh my God, I have to have 100,000 followers. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck about 100,000 people.
No, my 5-hit Dune Twitter really, it's really all about just Twitch. That's really what I see. And the occasional Johnny pissed off about a program. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're also not so I don't actually do much on my real name Twitter feed, Twitter post, Twitter, whatever you call it, account. And I follow you there, but I don't. But you're not following me there. But I don't post anything there anyway, so no big deal.
I probably don't know that one. The only one I know of is this one, the one that the Blues Brian.
Well, this is the one that I use, yeah. Oh, this is great. I got a like, okay. A person had tweeted, I refuse to be lectured about the age-appropriate sex education from groups who ask young girls to make their virginity pledges to their fathers at purity balls. And I go, is that where they tan their testicles? I don't know if you've heard all that crap. I think it's hilarious.
Do they eat cereal?
Yeah, cereal. Cereal. Here's a guy.
There we go.
if Elon Musk buys Twitter, I'm moving to North Korea.
There you go. There you go. Drum fill for that one.
Exactly. I mean, I there was a person that said, well, if he buys Twitter, I'm moving to Canada. And I go, oh, well, tell me where you live, because I'll go there too. Just joking. Who cares, right?
Brian in Canada, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Not a lot of beachfront property there.
Mm.
Well, Vancouver would have beachfront property.
Well, they might. True.
They might.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of really cute hula hoopers in Canada. I'm okay with that.
And pretty soon, Oak Island will be for sale.
Oh, there you go.
After they have found completely nothing.
Thank you. We agree. Finally, we agree.
I can only hope I live long enough to see them actually find a whole bunch of treasure. That's great.
Yeah, right.
That's the Monday show I want to tune in for.
Although it's like they're coming up to be promoting season 10. They're just closing up on season 9 now.
They should make it a amusement park.
No, OX64 makes.
Well, there is a tourism thing as well. There really is.
Now, OX64 writes in, come on, Dune, we know Facebook only puts stuff in our feeds that piss us off, which makes us react, which makes our platform succeed. I didn't think of that. Maybe Facebook is targeting me correctly. I rarely post or respond on Facebook. I rarely do
anything on Facebook. I think the most fun I have on Facebook is watching oh gosh, what's his name? Oh crap. The guy who keeps saying he's going to do a show and never does.
Oi.
Oh.
Oi. Yeah. Oi.
Yeah.
Oi posts some stuff, and then he disappears because he gets put in jail.
One of my friends posted a video of some angry guy screaming at a TV, like getting in the TV's face and screaming at it. And I'm not going to say what figure is on the TV, because you could insert any figure on that TV.
Any you want, yes.
And my response would be just as bad. I posted a picture of that headline from The Simpsons, old man yells at cloud. That was my response to that.
Yeah.
I just thought the guy looked like a dumbass, because you're yelling at a TV. But then again, I've yelled at TVs in my time, so who am I to?
Oh, absolutely.
But I've never jumped up and gotten a TV's face. At least I could say that.
Well, and there's a person I know that will offer an opinion about what the person should be doing. This is a TV. They filmed this months ago. Nothing is going to change.
Even if it's live TV, they don't have a camera on your TV that feeds to that person. They only have a camera on the TV that spies on you to target ads at you.
So when you talk about home decorating, one of the popular things is to have a TV in the living room above the fireplace. Mm-hmm. And the way I look at it is there are so many things on TV, politicians, idiot news people, whatever. I don't want to be looking up to them. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. So you put your TV on the floor is what you're...
as close as the
kind of like a TV rug, I guess you could...
Well, I do have it on a short stand.
You could wipe your feet on people then, and there you...
Oh, there it is. Now I can see chat. Okay.
One of these days they will make a screen that would be tough
Sparky
enough.
is here. Sparky's in the room. He's written yo. And
Hey,
Mod Pro points out that Dune doesn't follow... Dune, you don't follow Mod Pro?
What?
Does Mod Pro have a Twitter account? Am I following Mod Pro?
Not that I know of.
I gotta check out if Mod Pro's got a Twitter account and if I should be following it. Because usually I follow
We're
anyone.
all going to be following Mod Pro.
Mod Productions has a Twitter account, but I don't think that's a Modern Problems Show. Mod Props, but no Mod Pro. Okay.
What the hell?
All right. Now. So
you're gonna have to spell your Twitter account for us.
If Mod Pro has a Twitter account. Now Mod Pro is saying don't move to Canada, too cold.
Wait a second, why am I not seeing? There it is. This is. I didn't see her say anything about Canada.
Yeah, I'm way behind. Now, OX64 writes in, Elon, please buy Twitch and make it free speech, no TOS.
Yeah.
Have you seen what happens to a site that tries to have absolutely no TOS? It's a
TNA, man, right?
You're gonna get a lot of dicks in your face, and that's the pleasant side of it.
Johnny, we would have to have a Friday show for Twitch Finds if that was the case. Late night Friday.
Well, the
for Twitch 2.
Here's the thing. There used to be a site that compiled any IRC quotes that people thought were funny, they would submit, and you could read through all the submissions, and everyone can vote on them, and everyone can upvote them, and everyone can downvote them, and so a lot of times you would sort it by the most popular, the most upvotes, and after you do that, you realize that it's pretty much the same list, because a lot of the funny stuff floats to the top, and as it gets bigger, less stuff floats closer to the top. So every now and then you're like, gee, I wonder what's at the bottom of the list. And if you ever wanted to find a list of different jokes to make that would get you beat up in certain neighborhoods, that's how you find that material. It is the stuff that was submitted that got downvoted there. I don't even know if that site exists anymore because of that. And so you had to have some kind of rules to have a successful site, which means that essentially on a site someone's playing rule maker, and that's why different sites come and go, and that's why this
Sure.
It's just a website. It's just a website that someone sets rules on. And you can make your own website, and maybe people come, maybe they won't.
I'd like to see them just be more. Here are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
You can show up to and including this.
Yeah.
Things
Right.
Like that.
It's very you know what I will say. Fair criticism is like we've pointed out plenty of examples of inconsistencies in TOS on Twitch. I very comfortably criticize something while sitting from this chair, pointing my finger, criticizing something without actually ever trying to manage something like that on my own. It's very easy to be a backseat driver of the internet, and so I'll call myself out on that.
I don't think it's easy.
No, and I think oftentimes things are intentionally vague because people are always looking for loopholes, and it's easier to find a loophole if it's stated in black and white, and then so and I'm not trying to defend that, but I'm just saying, it's so complicated, and I recognize that, and I understand that, but I'm still pissed off about it, and I still have my opinions about it, and you all do too, and that's great, and that's, it's, yeah. Now, Sparky Toaster wants to know who has the rubber duck. No, I have rubber ducky socks, but I wore them yesterday, so they're in the hamper. Now, Sparky Toaster said Brian had a good point. So
I did.
You did, and we all missed it.
Whoa! Mark the calendar, man. Thanks, Sparky.
OX64 writes in, I know what happens to a site with a TOS. Special people who get away with rules. Yeah, no, I hate that too, and I think that things should be applied evenly and consistently, and you know what, if someone finds a loophole, then you change your TOS. That's yeah. I think being vague is a popular strategy, and it must be a successful strategy because it's done so much. But I don't think it's right. But I don't run a social
think it's
network.
done so you can do that.
Yeah.
Well, and so the thing is, people get all upset about TOS. How much are you paying to be on that site? Zippo, right?
Well, the other side
the guys
of that,
that
though,
own it get to make the rules. It's as simple as
they
that.
They get to make money though. They get to advertise.
Well, with the average, but I don't
Yeah.
pay. I put up with ads to be able
But
to use
I
their
think
service.
I think the criticism that gets made is that when these platforms become a huge central place, that gives them a certain power over a message, a power over
Yeah.
information,
Yeah.
and that's the type of thing that is not something that you should take lightly or ignore. And notice I'm being very careful where I step right now.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
the
I mean,
cat's hovering over the
so
button
I
right
follow
now.
Robert Reich.
No, wait. Dune said something. I want to hear what he said.
Sorry. Oh,
No,
yeah.
I
I'm
said,
sorry.
I said there's. I said I said the Twitch guy is like hovering over the button right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't give a shit about them.
Oh,
No,
We're
I
still
follow
connected
Reich.
to the NHP stream.
I follow Robert Reich on Twitter.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
the former Secretary of Labor, whatever it was,
Okay.
and he's actually a guy in the Bay Area here, professor at Berkeley, and he feels that Twitter is a monopoly. And quite honestly, I disagree with him. If you don't like it, you can go to another place.
I
There
understand what he's
are
trying
other
to
ones, they're
say.
just smaller.
I understand what he's trying to say, but he's going to extreme there, and I think
Yeah.
that weakens his message. Because today, absolutely,
Sure.
if you could come up with
Sure.
10 other examples of something that does what it does, you can't call it a monopoly. I mean, plain and simple. You could say
Well,
that,
although most are way smaller than Twitter.
and that's
In
his
fact,
point.
The guy that quit and came back signed up for an
His-
account for this other service. I forget what it's called, Mandalorian or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah, it's not that great. And there's glitches because people are jumping into it in droves because they're leaving Twitter." It's like, yeah, that's what happens when a small outfit suddenly gets a bunch of users. That'll iron out.
Droves.
Maybe it'll be good, and maybe it'll suck, and people will be back to Twitter.
Well, I remember when Addy, and I'm sorry, Dune, for invoking the name that shall not be named, but Addy got pissed at Facebook many, many years ago before it was
Sure.
trendy, and decided that he was gonna. He was just sick and tired of wasting time on it, so he decided he was gonna quit Facebook and he was gonna go join Let's Go Chate. Which I think was because they misspelled chat, and it had like this great slogan that was "Let's go chat for people having and chating at each other." That was literally the it was so English. and so like a bunch of us from NHB actually joined Let's Go Chat for like a few weeks and message on each other's walls. It was like someone downloaded the code of Facebook and put their stuff on it, and no one else was there.
Let me ask, was this letsgochat.com or something like that?
Yeah, I think that was the name of the site. Let's go chat.com for people talking and chating at each other.
So what you do is
Oh my
you go
God.
into
Is that
who
real hair?
is and find out who owns that. Is that in
it was
Russia or
clearly
China or
it
whatever?
was clearly hosted in some Asian country where the phrase for people talking and chating at each other like made sense. Sparky Toaster writes in, excuse me while I go squeeze something in my vice. Hey, maybe we could get Sparky Toaster to play the role of the person that taps out the topic one week.
So Sparky, is this before or after you tan your balls?
What?
Sorry.
I don't even know if I understand the joke, but I'm going to pretend I do.
There was some Republican politician that said something about, and I remember who it was, about tanning his testicles, and I just think that's hilarious.
I
think
could-
no. In fact, I
tanning.
think Colbert was talking about it a few days ago. That was like his opening thing. That's hilarious.
I need to start watching Colbert again.
And the thing is also, and then a few weeks before, there's a whole thing about Republican orgies. And it was this Republican that brought that up. It's like, where is this shit come from? It is funny as hell.
Well, it comes from Twitter that you're obviously reading. I don't know.
Of course, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
OX64
Must
writes
be
in,
picked up by others.
I don't know where this comment is going to take us, so we might just move on along. But
your
OX64
Twitter feed from that island where all the kids live.
Yeah.
Island where all the kids live?
Yeah,
What?
never mind.
You don't watch Tucker Carlson.
What does I don't know.
I think a lot of that actually comes from him. Come to think of it,
What? Tanning balls?
I don't know if it's that specifically, but some of the weird stuff comes from him.
Oh, well, clearly, yeah, I know weird stuff comes from him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch him, but then again, if he says something really outrageous, Colbert will cover him, and some of the other people will.
Oh, yeah, I can't walk 2 steps without hearing something about what he said, and I think he's winning in that sense. If his message is getting to my ears, clearly he's doing something right, no matter how wrong I might think he is.
Well, as far as getting attention, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No.
And maybe that's why you say something outrageous. That's how you get attention. Otherwise, you're irrelevant.
And my level of attention getting has gotten us a whole 9 viewers right now. We're this close to double digits. We are this close.
Oh, please.
I
don't
think
care how many visitors.
Brian, I think your comment about tanning balls got us up to that 9. I think so. I think that's so. We might have to order you a tanning bed now, and we might have to.
Holy shit!
The OX64.
And if you look around this room, you kind of realize where the fuck is he going to put it?
And Dune, remember the tap out option is still in play. If we say anything that you, because I'm just joking around about I don't even know what now. I don't even know what I'm saying. But I got 2 cats staring at each other in a stare off, so that's happening. Yeah. Well, they both want treats, and they're both close to each other, so one of them's blocking the door and the other one's staring at the one that's blocking the door, and we got to retreat. Okay, peace is Dune, you still here? You've gotten very quiet.
I'm watching Cats.
Cats the movie?
You know what you need to do, Johnny, is you need to have a cat cam, and if it looks like something's going on, you just flip the image to the cats.
I'm curious what's going on with Dune right now, though, because he's watching cats.
Instagram.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Now, OX64 is suggesting that I should put safe mode on when searching for balls. That is good advice. And I think Dune should put safe mode on when searching Spotify. Is
for cake. That's right.
For cake.
Especially by the ocean.
Oh dear. Yeah, you always want to be safe. This has been an interesting show. So I think we're at the 5-minute mark, and we did not hit the double digits. We've now slid back to 8. Although maybe we crossed double digits at some point during these 2 hours. I don't know.
Just didn't notice.
But we do have to play GTA online again sometime soon, because I haven't had a chance to show Brian my new car. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to find time to connect.
He's going to show off again.
We got to try to find time to connect, maybe early next week or maybe sometime during this week, and test headsets. Because if Brian and myself can get our audio to communicate via headsets, I could just share that feed, and then Brian doesn't have to come into StreamYard, and then we could all make that work.
Yeah.
And
because I could get in on it through my tablet. That's.
And I think Dune is looking into installing Grand Theft Auto. Well, no, he's expressed interest. He hasn't actually gone as far as to looking into it. But that'd be fun if Dune joined us on a mission.
Yeah, did you send a link to what we got?
A link for what?
A link to which one to download?
Oh, it would be from Steam edition. But I think any of the PC editions I think hit the same lobbies, but we bought from Steam just to be sure.
Okay.
But yeah, actually, what's interesting is I actually decided to get a little nostalgic this past week, and I installed Grand Theft Auto 4 onto my PC, and I haven't played that game since. I played through the Grand Theft Auto 4 twice when I bought it brand new for the PS3. So it's been a number of years since I played it, and it's really something to experience how different Grand Theft Auto 4 is from Grand Theft Auto 5.
Are most of them positive improvements?
Somewhat. One thing I will say is that Grand Theft Auto 4 has slower cars that are less responsive to steering, so you have to actually slow down to try to make a turn, whereas Grand Theft Auto 5 handles easier, probably less realistic, and they're faster. Also, the traffic is more annoying in Grand Theft Auto 4. But then again, Grand Theft Auto 4 takes place in a New York City clone world where there would be more traffic than in California. Well, then again, the city part of Grand Theft Auto 5 is like LA, which has horrendous traffic in real life. But yeah, no, the backups.
Yeah,
on
you're never stopped in traffic, which is good.
Right, but in Grand Theft Auto 4,
you have some traffic, but you can bump them off the way.
The real annoying thing is that there's a bridge that has a toll booth, and if you blow through the toll booth, the police pursue you. So you have to slow down, stop at the right point.
Is this in 4 or 5?
That's in 4.
Oh, so yesterday, I went near the harbor, and there was a truck that was backed up to a loading dock. So I got out of my truck and stole this truck with the trailer.
Oh, nice.
And I was speeding all around. I was bumping people here and there. It was great. I was near the airport, and I go, oh, those ramps are cool. We were doing that before.
Right.
And I did the ramp. Total failure.
Oh.
But it didn't kill me. The thing kind of pops back upright again, and then I could continue.
Well, if you
and
fail,
then the cops were chasing me, right? You're in LA, you're essentially LAX.
Right.
Driving all around, getting off and I lost the cops in this big fucking truck. How does that happen?
You're getting
These
better.
Cops are bad.
Oh my God, you're improving. This is great. Yeah. This is great.
It was fun. Then I actually returned the truck because I wanted to get back to my car, which means I didn't get killed. The cops did shoot at me, but of course with a big old truck, they're not likely to hit you.
Right.
But that was really fun. It's like, holy shit, this is what you can do.
That's awesome.
You can't launch off of a ramp.
And Sparky Toaster typed in something that is right on, a lot of text. And OX64 responded, I resemble that remark. I think we all, certainly we all at times resemble that remark. I strive to not resemble that remark. I don't know that I succeed at it, but we know.
No, Sparky, exactly. Totally.
Exactly. But anyways, we have reached the top of another hour, so we got to go find someone to raid. But before we do that, we got to play the theme tune again for
insert title here.
And I think we had a very successful show this week, and so Dune, thank you for joining us on the Skypes. And what have you learned this week?
Tap out.
Tap out.
We made it 2 hours before he tapped out. You okay, Dune? You cool?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, all right.
Cool.
I was on the VJ channel, seeing if anything come across there. So far, it's okay.
All right, very good, very good. Well, thank you for joining us, Dune. We're gonna go find someone to raid, and we'll be in touch.
Here, let me start the stream up so you can have one more person.
Oh, okay, cool.
There.
All right.
Done and done.
We'll catch you in a bit.
All right.
And Brian, what have you learned this week?
Oh, shoot. There's a lot of things that we did, especially about doing things that are stupid.
we learned how to come up with a long list of a lot of bad ideas.
Did we ever come up with a final count? I'm not sure.
Mod Pro was responsible for that. So, Mod Pro, if you could just make up a number.
42.
42. I think it's higher than that, Brian. But Mod Pro writes...
It was only in 2 hours, man. Right?
Mod Pro writes, you want some cheesecake, Dune? And Sparky Toaster learned that I like to twirl my headphone cord. Let's see. And Violet Doom writes in, okay, now I'm really here. Sparky, OC, MP. And OX64 learned that I need to tune in on time so I don't miss all the near TOS topics and stay confused the rest of the show. Well, that's okay. We never explained what the cereal thing was about. But let's just say there once was a movie about a stepbrother and a stepsister and wrestling over spilt milk. And oh my God, how did that get in there? But that's not TOS friendly. So we're going to go find someone to raid is what we're going to go do. So let's see who's live right now.
Noel Ray.
Let's see. Yeah, we got. Let's start from the bottom.
Only music on my list. So if we want to add somebody on my list,
Okay. Who are you looking at?
I see Noel Ray.
Yeah, Noel Ray Waters. I don't know when we last rated her. I think we rated her recently. Ariel Petri. You see, I wish I knew who I followed most recently. It'd be great if we could raid someone that we just, but it's hard to keep track.
Right.
So I feel like we rated Noel Ray recently, but I'm not quite sure. So we could raid Noel Ray, or do you have Ariel Petri on your list?
I don't, but if we rate her, then I can add her.
Oh, there we go. All right, so that's a good measure of who we haven't rated yet. Because
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna raid Ariel.
I'm under the impression that if you don't watch this person enough, then you get dropped.
I don't.
Is that
think,
true?
No, you're not supposed to. I don't think so. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and raid Ariel Petri, who is chatting right now, but she's listed as music, so she's probably just between tunes. So let's go check her out. And Mod Pro said that we came up with 28 awful ideas. All right. There we go. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. All right, and we are rating.
Open an OnlyFans for the bobs. Might pay the costs off. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, Johnny, hi. Sorry, you came in at a weird time.
We rated a weird time.
Ryan, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, y'all. Any of them cancer doctors? No, they're just breast specialists.
All right. Well, I don't know. I guess we messed up that raid, but we'll see how it goes. All right. I'll catch you.
What's your title? What kind of
Catch you later.
I'm a breast
Yeah.
specialist.
Night.